are there. No, there ain't no going home once you are there. Recognize your reflection in the water. Haven't seen yourself in years. The skies are real, they don't define you. Let your boundaries disappear. On a trip through the nowhere zone, leave behind all you've ever known. Kill your conscience till you see the light. Your gypsy soul burns in the flames tonight. A single word can turn the heart to ashes. Another word can paint you in divine. Born and bruised is the only road to choose. But the summer moon will never cease to shine. Realize we're all part of the illusion. Nothing's very far from here. Plant your feet, don't let the darkness blind you. Let your boundaries disappear. On a trip through the nowhere zone, leave behind all you've ever known. Kill your conscience so you see the light. Your gypsy soul burns in the flames tonight. On a trip through the nowhere zone, leave behind all you've ever known. Kill your conscience so you see the light. Your gypsy soul is burning in the flame. On a trip through the nowhere zone, leave behind all you've ever known. Kill your conscience so you see the light. Your gypsy soul's burning in the flames tonight.
All right, here we are at Michigan for the G2 Racing League season finale with Andrew Cowart and Drew Warren on the front row, DJ Kenner, Michael Whiting on the second row, Brian Mansfield, and Robin Pardoon at the third row. Michael Grainolds, Jim Scruggs on the fourth row, Patrick Coluccio, Gerald Poole on the fifth row, Jim Johnson and Superman Norman Chan starting back behind them. In 11th and 12th, 13th will be Graham Nucky, 14th, Kevin Barnes, Bradley Berry is 15th, and Scott Whiteman starting in 16th. The drivers are headed to the to the green flag here. Let's get things going. Pace car is in. Down and waiting for the flag man. Green flag in the air. They are down and away. No big jumps or position changes at the line. This track is bigger. Guys have to be a little bit more patient. We'll see some guys playing a strategy game here tonight, as due to the fuel load, they will have to stretch the fuel and they will have to make sure they save tires tonight as well. So things will be a little bit interesting as the race goes on. Going around to complete lap number 1, a little bit of side-by-side battling up front. Andrew Cowart, DJ Kenner starting to pull away. Brian Mansfield going under Drew Warren now for third, and here comes Michael Whiting on a mission, closing back up to the back bumper of Drew Warren. Behind him is Robin Pardoon, Patrick Coluccio in 7th place, Jim Johnson 8th, Bradley Berry 9th, Kevin Barnes is 10th, Michael Graynolds in 11th. Gerald Thanospool is 12th. Graham Nucky currently running in 13th. Scruggs in 14th. Scott Whiteman taking 14th on the high side now. And Norman Chan hanging out at the back. Don't expect him to be back there long though, folks. Norman has a tendency to sneak his way up through the field, especially on these downforce dependent tracks. Completing the second lap, everybody seems stretched out. Biggest mover so far is Bradley Berry in the 97. After having some problems at Kentucky, he is looking to recover here tonight. Patrick Coluccio on the high side battling Kevin Barnes. And Kevin Barnes gets clear. Patrick Coluccio loses a lot of momentum into 1 and 2. They have to be careful not to lose the back end while those tires are cold. And some of these guys just making some wise choices, backing out when necessary. Michael Graynolds there on the high side. Graham Nucky passing him on the bottom in the Valvoline paint scheme tonight. But back up front, Andrew Cowart and DJ Kenner have stayed single file after a couple of laps. But Brian Mansfield is not wasting any time. He's made his way up to third, and he's closing on DJ. Drew Warren has dropped back to fourth. Michael Whiting in fifth. Robin Pardoon in sixth. And they have built up a gap from sixth to seventh. Kevin Barnes now 2.1 seconds back in seventh place. Bradley Berry, eighth. Gerald Thanospool up to ninth. Patrick Coluccio holding on to 10th as they complete the fourth lap. As the field comes around to start lap 10, Andrew Cowart still in the lead, but Brian Mansfield has managed to take away second place from DJ Kenner and is starting to run Cowart down. As they made the pass, Cowart had opened up a small gap, but that has closed. DJ Kenner still with him in third, Drew Warren in fourth, Michael Whiting in fifth. Gerald Poole has charged through the field as well. He is now up into sixth place and continues to advance. Seventh is Robin Pardoon. Bradley Berry currently running in eighth. Kevin Barnes in ninth. Patrick Coluccio back a little bit further in 10th. There's about 3 seconds back to this group, and this group is the biggest group on track, and they keep playing, changing positions every single lap. As Coluccio has 10th right now, Jim Johnson in 11th, Graham Nucky in 12th, Michael Graynolds in 13th, Scott Whiteman is 14th, 15th is Scruggs, and Superman Norman Chan just hanging out back there being patient. As tire wear starts to come into play here, I would expect to see Superman start pulling to the front. Norman Chan has been hanging out back there. He doesn't make any move without a plan, and he is just playing the strategy game here, I do believe. He's saving fuel, saving tires, and we could see him make the longest distance on fuel here tonight. They will have to make 2 pit stops as they come around to complete the 11th lap. They will have to make 2 pit stops tonight, so look for that between the first one to be between lap 17 and lap 20. That top 5 cars still nose to tail around the track. Brian Mansfield got to the back bumper of Andrew Cowart, has not made any aggressive moves like he is trying to take the lead. The car really making aggressive moves and making his way forward quickly is Gerald Thanospool. That gap from him to Michael Whiting now 2.5 seconds. He has closed that gap down a couple of times. We'll see if he does. Anytime Kevin Barnes gets to his back bumper, he has to drive defensively and loses a little bit of ground. But now Kevin Barnes has teammate Bradley Berry coming up to his back bumper. Those two combined, as we've seen in recent weeks, once that team gets hooked up, they are almost unstoppable. So if these two get connected, if they get up to their other teammate, there's no telling what could happen here tonight. Robin Pardoon still holding on to 9th. Patrick Coluccio in 10th has actually closed the gap to Pardoon down to half a second, and it looks like we might, this back group might be picking up speed, might be gaining, as now Coluccio is going to come past Pardoon. Off into turn 3, and it looks like Jim Johnson's going to come by as well. So he's going to pick up 10th, move Robin Pardoon back to 11th. Scott Whiteman in 12th, Graham Nucky in 13th. We've got several guys back here that just hanging out, not pushing it. Michael Graynolds and Norman Chan being back there together ought to worry a lot of these guys. Those are two guys that are very experienced at getting through a field together, as Brian Mansfield looks to the inside out of turn 2. Doesn't have enough momentum yet. Will he try it in turn 3? He looks to the bottom. Here comes Mansfield on the bottom for the lead. Mansfield sending it down in there. A little bit of help from behind from DJ Kenner, and Brian Mansfield drifts up and takes the lead, leaves DJ with no drafting help. Drew Warren's coming along to help him. Now Andrew Cowart's going to lose several positions as a freight train comes by. He's going to go from first to at least 4th, possibly 5th. Depends on if Michael Whiting lets him in. While they are doing this side-by-side battle, Gerald Poole starting to regain a little bit of ground, not a whole lot, but with pit strategy coming up, and we've seen a lot of guys do 2-tire strategies here recently, there's no telling what could happen here with the pit stops and where guys are going to come out of those pit stops at. Andrew Cowart is still fighting with Drew Warren on the high side, though. That is the battle for 3rd place. And next time by, we will probably start seeing some green flag pit stops here. All right, we saw Robin Pardoon going backwards very quickly as he comes out of turn number 4 down the front straightaway on lap 17. Let's see how things go here, because Pardoon has drifted way back. Look, I'm not sure what happened there, but he just dropped down to the apron and went left. It looked like it might have been a technical glitch, but bit of a problem, and with him stopped in the middle of the track, we might see the first caution of the night here. No caution yet. Looks like he gets it off the track in time to not draw the caution. As they come down, he toes to pit road. Meanwhile, back behind, Scott Whiteman is battling Jim Johnson for 10th place as they close in on pit stops, and oh my goodness, Whiteman drops down to the bottom. And through 1 and 2, it looks like Jim Johnson has the advantage. He's going to clear him and hold on to 10th. Meanwhile, up front with Brian Mansfield, who is a couple of car lengths ahead of DJ Kenner. Drew Warren has managed to take 3rd. Michael Whiting is 4th. And Andrew Cowart has drifted back now to 5th. Gerald Poole is losing some ground now, but he is in real trouble with Kevin Barnes and Bradley Berry hooked up together now right behind him, as is the rest of that pack. That bigger pack back behind, led by Patrick Coluccio, has now caught up to this 3-car pack. And as we close on pit stops, that's when things will get interesting, especially having the bigger pack and more cars together. That front 5 cars could all pit together without problem, but you put the 10 back here together going to pit road at the same time, could make for a little bit of chaos. Gerald Poole still holding on to 6th place, though, for the moment. Nobody looking to pit road this time. Brian Mansfield continuing to lead the race. All right, as the field comes to lap 21, Gerald Thanos Poole has been caught by quite a pack as they go off into turn number 1 and 2. Gerald Thanos Poole in 6th place, but Kevin Barnes, Patrick Coluccio, Bradley Berry, these guys, they're 3 wide. They're racing like they're on fresh tires, but they are not. They're all on worn tires. They'll all be looking to go to pit road soon. Gerald Poole maintaining the high line. Looks like Bradley Berry's going to clear the majority of that group and get up there into 7th. Coluccio on the high side, still holding on to 8th place. Jim Johnson in 9th. Kevin Barnes drifting back into 10th. And it looks like the teammates have drifted apart just a little bit on track. Bradley Berry now getting by Thanos. He is now up into 6th, but this battle is far from over with that entire group right there, nose to tail, and a lot of guys changing up lanes, trying to find a faster way and make some passes right before the first set of green flag pit stops as everybody coming down the back straightaway. It looks like Scruggs was the first one to hit pit road. Last time by, he went to pit road. None of the leaders are going to pit road as we've got a side-by-side battle up here for 6th on back. Patrick Coluccio slips by on the bottom, and it looks like Jim Johnson might be having some sort of problem. He had a little bobble coming out of turn 2. Or out of turn 4, excuse me. Out of turn 4, Scruggs has a little bit of problems, and now he's back on it, but he lost several spots when he was stuck in the middle there. Meanwhile, Coluccio in the lead of this group is still pulling this entire pack around. Up front, Brian Mansfield still leading, but DJ the Iceman Kenner starting to look to the inside off of turn number 4. Not enough momentum yet. Might be looking behind him, looking for a little help from Drew Warren or Michael Whiting. Both of them right there, right behind him, and could definitely come up here and affect this pack. Andrew Cowart out there in no man's land by himself in 5th place. He's 2 seconds behind the lead pack and 5 seconds ahead of Patrick Coluccio in this group. As look there, Gerald Thanos Poole trying to come back on the inside. Bradley Berry up high, managed to keep Thanos pinched down there for a moment. It'll be interesting. Scruggs, the only one that has been to pit road thus far. And now the leaders are all on pit road. Brian Mansfield, DJ Kenner, Drew Warren, Michael Whiting, Andrew Cowart, all on pit road. This second pack led by Patrick Coluccio staying out. Patrick Coluccio getting credit for leading that lap. Now Bradley Berry in 2nd. Graham Nucky up to 3rd. Jim Johnson is 4th. Scott Weidman is 5th. 6th is Kevin Barnes. Superman Norman Chan back there in 7th. Graynolds back there in 8th. And Patrick Coluccio down low, coming through 3 and 4. Will he come to pit road this time? Does look like he is slowing down. He is going to the apron. Bradley Berry stays up high, but Bradley Berry's starting to check up. We might be seeing the first of the chaos. No. Everybody manages to get down and get through clear. Scott Whiteman and Norman Chan and Michael Graynolds, all 3 stay out. These are the only 3 that have not pitted yet. And now Scott Whiteman has the lead. He's got help from Superman Norman Chan as we see guys coming up off pit road. There comes Gerald Poole. Scott Whiteman down on the bottom. This could get sketchy if he's looking to come to pit road this time with Gerald Poole right there in front of him. Those fresh tires should give him a little bit of an advantage, and Gerald Poole should be able to pull away. There goes the 17 of Scott Whiteman to pit road. There goes Superman Norman Chan to the lead. And I said it early in the race, Norm is going to try and stretch that fuel, stretch those tires, and make the greatest strategy move ever. He stayed at the back of the pack the first half of this race, stayed in the draft, used the least amount of fuel, and now here he is leading. Once he goes to pit road, he'll have the freshest set of tires out there. Plus, he can go further now than anybody else on fuel. And will he come this time, or can he stay another lap? No, he ducks down, and he is going to come to pit road. Graynolds up on the high side. He was looking for pit road, I think, but did not get down yet. Michael Graynolds has not been to pit road, and now he is being passed by a couple of guys who have already been to pit road. Looks like Graham Nucky there on the bottom. The 27 of Kevin Barnes right behind him. They slip by. Graynolds up on the high side, just trying to make it back to pit road. So Reynolds is actually the one that stretches the furthest, 28 laps on this fuel run. And once Reynolds comes to pit road, they'll cycle through. Pit stops will be completed for the first time just before halfway. Michael Reynolds ducks to pit road. The lead now goes to DJ Kinner. Drew Warren in second. Brian Mansfield in third. Andrew Coward in fourth. Bradley Berry is fifth. Gerald Poole is sixth. Patrick Coluccio currently running in seventh. Jim Johnson is eighth. Kevin Barnes in ninth. And Graham Nucky in 10th. Superman Norman Chan will be 11th. 12th will be Scruggs. 13 will be Michael Whiting. All right, as they begin lap 33, almost halfway in this battle, DJ Kinner is still in the lead, but the top group, all there nose to tail. Brian Mansfield in second. Brian might be looking for the lead back. Andrew Cowart, Drew Warren in third, Andrew Cowart in fourth. Michael Whiting is in the middle of that pack, but he is actually one lap down. He is in 14th place. Gerald Thanos Poole in fifth, Bradley Berry in sixth. Those two having to work together to try and gain a little bit of ground, as they are just over 5 seconds behind that lead pack. Jim Johnson currently running in seventh, Patrick Coluccio in eighth, Kevin Barnes in ninth, Graham Nucky in 10th. Michael Reynolds currently in 11th. The last car to come to pit road. He did manage to maintain the lead lap, so great job by him, but a little bit further back in the field after leading, but we'll have to wait and see if that strategy pays off here. Norman Chan on a very similar strategy, just pitted one lap before Reynolds, and that is the 12 cars on the lead lap. Michael Whiting, as we mentioned, 13th, one lap down. Scruggs in 14th, one lap down, and Scott Whiteman now looks like 2 laps down in 15th. Up front, DJ Kinner has Brian Mansfield right on the back bumper, though, and they are actually starting to build a little bit of a gap on Drew Warren. This group of 3 cars right behind him really needs to work a little closer together if they're going to have any chance, because Brian Mansfield and DJ Kinner are starting to pull away just a little bit every lap. They also need to be worried about a charge coming from behind, because Gerald Thanos Poole and Bradley Berry are both making their way forward, trying to close down a little bit of that gap from them to the leaders, and they are literally getting nose to tail. As you see there, Bradley Berry gets right on the back bumper out of the turn, trying to use every bit of the draft they can here to close that gap. Jim Johnson currently running in 7th place. Patrick Coluccio is running in 8th. Kevin Barnes in 9th. Reynolds now back up to 10th, puts Norman Chan back behind him. And remember, Reynolds has 1 lap fresher tires than Norman Chan and 2 to 3 laps more than everybody else. So he has a very distinct advantage, plus he can go further than anybody on the fuel mileage here. In the meantime, though, DJ Kinner still leading as they complete lap 36, just past halfway. All right, we have 26 laps to go at this point, and well within the pit window of everybody on track. So we might see some guys pulling some short pit moves here in the next few laps. Brian Mansfield slipped by DJ Kinner a couple laps ago on the bottom. DJ's just not letting him get away. DJ not pushing the tires. It seems Brian Mansfield gets a lot faster in the middle of the run, but DJ definitely has been the most consistent so far. Drew Warren still in 3rd. Andrew Coward in 4th. Bradley Berry currently in 5th. Gerald Poole in 6th, has dropped back to 6th. And out of reach of Bradley Berry at the moment. Bradley Berry, who started in 15th, already up into 5th. So he's got a good march going towards the front. Gerald Poole in 6th. Jim Johnson in 7th. Patrick Coluccio in 8th. They're starting to gain on Gerald Poole and Bradley Berry. We might see that group pack back up again and try and make their way to the front. Michael Reynolds currently in 9th, and Norman Chan running in 10th. Graham Nucky in 11th. Michael Whiting currently in 12th. He is a lap down, but mixed in with the leaders at the moment. Looking for any opportunity, hoping by staying where he's at, if a caution comes out, he would be the first car one lap down. He would get the lucky dog pass here. So he is doing everything he can to stay with the leaders. And Andrew Cowart, since the pit stop, has been just as fast as he was earlier, but it seems like he is just barely hanging on to the back of the pack. I think he might be pulling the same move that Norman Chan pulled early in the race. Michael Grainold's pulling a similar move. Those guys currently running in 9th and 10th can stretch their fuel further than anybody, stretch their tires. And Gerald Poole is the first one to pit road. He is going to short pit here. Graham Nucky is short pitting. Nope. Trying to confirm if Graham Nucky. No, Graham stays out. So Gerald Poole is going to short pit here, see if he can make something happen with 23 laps to go. Now that begs the question, what do the leaders do? Do they go in knowing that Poole's going to be on fresh tires? Yes, they do. Everybody, Brian Mansfield's on pit road. DJ Kenner, Drew Warren, Andrew Cowart stays out. So Andrew Cowart is the first car to stay out. Let's see further back in the field. Bradley Berry's coming to pit road. Jim Johnson, Patrick Coluccio, Michael Grainolds, and Norman Chan definitely not going to stop. They're still on fairly fresh tires. They have not been out as long as everybody else. But Andrew Cowart now out in the lead. He's either going to come to pit road this time or commit to this, and we're going to watch pit times very closely this time around, because I suspect we're going to see a few guys with 2-tire pit stops here trying to get any advantage they can. DJ Kenner takes 4 tires. Brian Mansfield takes 4. Drew Warren takes 4 tires. Bradley Berry takes 4. Jim Johnson takes 4. Patrick Coluccio also taking 4. So it looks like everybody taking 4 tires on this stop. Now the question is, we have several different drivers on several different strategies. Whose strategy works out the best here? Andrew Cowart currently in the lead. He's going to stay out. He's got Michael Whiting right there with him. No, it looks like Andrew Cowart may come to pit road this time. He does. That's going to give the lead to Michael Grainolds in a moment. And remember, him and Norman Chan can stay out longer than everybody else. Can they go the distance? No, they can't, but they can stay out and hope here that they get a quick caution, especially with all the chaos coming on and off pit road, I should say. Michael Grainolds leads, Norman Chan in second. Graham Nucky does come to pit road this time as well. Once they complete their pit stops, that'll give the lead back to DJ Kenner, who now has a 1.8 second lead over Brian Mansfield. Brian has a almost 5 second lead over Drew Warren. Bradley Berry is another 2.5 seconds back, and Gerald Thanos Poole, he is currently just a half a second back behind Bradley Berry. So his pit strategy definitely paying off and allowing him to get right back within reach. Jim Johnson now 2 seconds back from Gerald Poole. Patrick Coluccio another 2.5 seconds back from him, and that rounds out your top 10. Now the question does become, how long do Michael Grainolds and Norman Chan stay out? Keep in mind, they have right now a 21 second lead over the field, and that lead, while shrinking a little bit, is not dropping substantially. They continue to hold that a pretty steady lead right now. Their speed's not that far off the guys that just came to pit road. Now they're going to come to pit road. Norman Chan, Michael Grainolds come down for their final stop. DJ Kenner will come around and assume the lead. Now it looks like Norm stayed out. It looked like he went to pit road with Michael. He did not. So Michael pits way earlier than he needed to. And will Norman Chan pit this time, or is he going to cross his fingers and hope that this thing gets a caution soon? Without the drafting help from Reynolds, though, he is starting to lose ground. That lap, he lost 3 seconds to DJ Kenner. Norman Chan stays out as Scruggs goes by and is unlapping himself, getting one of his laps back here. Reynolds now coming back up off pit road. And once Reynolds is back on track, they will have completed all of the green flag pit stops for this race. All right, here we come. They are coming down Mansfield, about to get 10 to go. He managed to close the gap on DJ Kenner and get past him at almost the exact same time that Superman Norman Chan went to pit road. So now your top two are Brian Mansfield in the lead, DJ Kenner in second. Michael Whiting is right there with him. He is currently in 12th place, a lap down. Third place, Andrew Cowart, now 5.3 seconds behind DJ, but he's got Drew Warren closing in on him in fourth place. Jim Johnson in fifth, another 3.5 seconds back from Drew. And Bradley Berry right there with him. Those two are hoping they can connect and close the distance. It's definitely of a benefit to Jim Johnson, as we've seen Bradley Berry here tonight be extremely good at pushing a car in front of him and then picking up a ton of speed. 3 seconds behind them in no man's land, Gerald Thanos Poole all alone. 3 seconds behind him, Patrick Coluccio in 8th place. Michael Reynolds currently in 9th. Superman Norman Chan in 10th. Graham Nucky currently running in 11th place. Michael Whiting, as we mentioned, running with the leaders. He's currently in 12th place, 1 lap down. Kevin Barnes 13th. Scruggs is in 14th. Scott Whiteman is in 15th. Robin Pardoon is off track. And while Michael Whiting is trying to get around DJ Kenner here, they are letting Brian Mansfield get away. DJ Kenner finally clears Michael Whiting there, but no, he's not. As Michael Whiting goes back to the bottom through 1 and 2. Now Michael Whiting getting up, getting a little side draft. He goes flying by and just passes both of them and unlaps himself. I have to think that that was a little bit of a negotiation there for him to have gotten by both of those drivers so quickly and so easily. Michael Whiting actually pitted before both of these drivers, so he's not on fresher tires. That was just a strategy move and possibly a smart move, as these leaders now have somebody they can draft that's obviously a little bit faster here. Now DJ Kenner jumps to the bottom out of turn 2. He's got a run and gets by Brian Mansfield for the lead. Could this be the final move for the lead? Will Brian Mansfield be able to find a way back by immediately? Does not look like he's got the momentum here. And while these guys were battling, the 5-second lead to Andrew Cowart is under 2 seconds, and he is closing. We've seen Andrew and every member of that team this season make up a lot of ground late in a race, closing some extremely big gaps late in the race to come up and battle for wins. Will Andrew be able to close what remains of that? 2 3/4 of a second. Drew Warren right behind him, 1.1 second back and forth. Jim Johnson now 4.3 seconds back from Drew, with Bradley Berry right there on the back bumper. These two guys trying to draft back up and get into the fight with 6 laps to go. Doesn't look like they'll have enough time, though. And Michael Whiting continuing to pull away. And we have a caution. Looks like Kevin Barnes involved. Oh, Kevin Barnes just gets into the side of Reynolds going off into turn number 1. Let's take another look at that. Looks like he was just trying to come down off the corner, get in the draft, and just anticipated the move completely wrong, so two very fast cars out of it, and now a caution late in the race will change everything. Alright, as they line up for the restart, everybody went to pit road. Brian Mansfield, the first car off pit road, but you know who benefited the most from this one? That is the 44 car of Michael Whiting, who had gotten past the leaders a couple of laps before that incident, and once that caution came out, he gets waved around. He is back on the lead lap, as is Scruggs, who is coming back around too. Michael Whiting was naturally unlapped. Scruggs is the lucky dog. Those two guys are back on the lead lap. This tightens everything up. Everybody has been to pit road. Everybody has fresh tires. So it's going to be Brian Mansfield, Andrew Coward on the front row, DJ Kenner, Drew Warren on the second row, Bradley Berry, Jim Johnson on the third row, Gerald Poole, Patrick Colucci on the fourth row, Graham Nucky, and Superman Norman Chan rounding out the top 10, with Michael Whiting and Scruggs back on the lead lap and in contention here again. And pace car about to drop off. This could get chaotic here. They've only got a couple of laps left, and everybody's going to be going for it. Green flag back in the air. Brian Mansfield gets a good jump. Drew Warren manages to stay with him. They're starting to get three wide back behind already. Jim Johnson trying to come through. They're three wide with Drew Warren in the middle and the teammates Bradley Berry and Andrew Coward on the outside. Bradley Berry drifts up into second. Brian Mansfield watching his mirror closely here. Down the back straightaway, Jim Johnson is literally pushing DJ Kenner forward. As Andrew Coward and Drew Warren almost touch, they manage to get clear. And it's four wide further back as several cars come through the field. Somebody got up into the wall. I believe it was Jim Johnson. White flag in the air. Doesn't matter what happens now. Now you've got Bradley Berry right on the back bumper of Brian Mansfield. DJ Kenner, Drew Warren right behind him. Andrew Cowart back there too. Patrick Colucci. Michael Whiting, having got his lap back, has picked up to 7th place, but here they come out of turn 4. Brian Mansfield in the lead. Bradley Berry looks to the high side. Can he do anything? He looks back to the low side. Brian Mansfield drops down. Berry jumping up. Nothing doing. They finish the race with Brian Mansfield winning. Bradley Berry comes home second. And it looks like Andrew Cowart, Patrick Colucci had a little contact as they crossed the start-finish line. There you see Patrick Colucci in the 9 trying to get past the 14. They get together. Who came out ahead on that? Patrick Colucci. Looks like Andrew Cowart still managed to finish 5th with Colucci in 6th place. But Brian Mansfield wins here tonight. And here we are as the drivers are celebrating. You're about to... Brian Mansfield winning the race, but Bradley Berry takes the championship here tonight. DJ Kenner comes home in 2nd place after the race. And a great championship season they all had. Congratulations to all the drivers, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune in. We will be doing the next season as well, and looking forward to having the whole season right here.